So welcome back to Pile of Mopars. Another beautiful day here, and we got to take advantage of these nice days, coming into fall and being in Canada. Just heading out in the orange truck, going back to the gentleman's house where I bought the GTX. He's got that inner structure, a fender, and I think that's it. And I'll be picking those up to bring them home for the GTX, and then maybe give you a little update on the GTX later today. To make a quick little stop, get back to the beast. Man, I love this truck. I need to use it more. Well, made it home. Beautiful day for a drive. Give you a little quick shot of what we got here. Here's that front clip. 68 driver's fender. And a couple of Mustang bucket seats. These seats were in the car at one point, but glad he got the original ones back. Anyway, this is the front clip I was talking about. I'll get it unloaded and I'll give you a little view of this. This is a lifesaver because these are straight and rust-free. Got the stuff unloaded with the assistance of my lovely wife. So this came with the car, 68 fender. It's not in bad shape. I don't know if it's any better than what's on the car because it has some rust coming in the dog leg. It looks like it was stripped of paint decades ago because this is quite rough. And then it looks like there was some work in the nose here, probably bashed in a bit, dented, but it's not bad. It's a decent fender. I was gonna say there's no rust on top, it's just a mark. Yeah, so it's pretty clean there, and it's pretty clean in the seam where the hood would butt up against it. So yeah, we'll see if it's any better. We'll take the better of the two. Got these seats with it. Look to be 68 or 69 Mustang. Definitely our Mustang, I'm just not sure on the year. And here is the prize. This is what's gonna really make this car, a lot easier to deal with. Because if you remember, the GTX. It's all dented in here, and this is all Bondo and mud. And of course, this is all perfectly straight and perfectly rust-free. You know, you look at that front, all of this is nice and clean and straight. And that bottom bar, this side here, and then this one has a battery tray, which is nice. But if you look, it's all just perfectly straight, whereas the other one's just a mangled mess. So probably have a really good look at you know, what's mangled, and figure out a plan of attack as to where to pull this apart. You know, everything's just spot welded together, you know, along this lip here, and then of course the back and the window channel. So depending on which pieces you need to use, you're just gonna have to drill out some spot welds and, you know, fit it to the other car. So yeah, I think that'll work out just slick. And it's kind of funny too. This car's got the fender tag. It looks like a 68 Satellite that this all came off of, but it's MM1 bronze as well. It's the exact same color as the GTX was originally, so it's kind of funny. And then it's got this here splash shield. It looks to be in good shape. They're usually rotted right along here. The GTX is missing that, so that'll definitely be a usable piece. And then you can see just how straight that cowl is. So if I was to use this, which I probably am, I'll have to take the windshield and the dash out of the GTX, and you can see all the spot welds you have to drill out that are just, you know, sandwiched in here. And this whole piece. And a guy would probably just leave the firewall and everything attached and just put this whole unit in. So again, I'll just have to look over the GTX really well and mark what stays and what doesn't, and kind of go from there. And of course, these got the frame rails attached, and they're nice and straight and rust free. But I don't want to switch those out on the other car if I don't have to. So we'll have to see how straight they are. And of course, we know the driver's side's quite rusty. So whether we leave this one intact and switch out the whole rail, or, and you know, butt it up, because this one doesn't go all the way to the tranny cross member, that might be an option actually. It's just this one, the one on the GTX is all rusted through here. So if we clean up that seam at the back, do the same on the one that is in the car, and then we'll just leave all of this attached and replace the whole mess as a unit with possibly the firewall and that. It seems like a big deal when you think about it, but it's actually quite simple. These cars go together. They're quite simply built, but it's a score because this is completely rust free, and you know, that's hard to find nowadays. And you can buy pretty much all those panels, but you know, to buy them all and then try and fit them together, probably just the panels might be $2 or $3 grand. So the fact that this was included, and of course reproduction is really good, but they still don't fit like factory. So if I can make use of these factory panels, this is the way to go for sure. So a little update on the car itself. I switched out this piece from the one that was on there. It was on the, it was a right hand side that was in there, and of course it didn't fit anywhere here, so this fits good. I just got to get some nuts to secure it with, as I was unbolting the other one, and it was only held on with, I don't know, 3 or 4 studs. I think 3 studs. You know, they seize up and then it just snaps. They snap all the studs off, and that's exactly what happened. So I need new nuts for that. I put this on here. This came with the car as well. What else is I gonna do? Oh, I will set up the tripod to give you a look. But here, I tried to see if its numbers matching, because like I said, they stamped the numbers there. Now I'm not sure. This car is a pretty early car. Like I suspected and mentioned in the other video, this is a September 14th scheduled build date. And I'm not sure if they put the numbers in early like that, because of course in 67 they didn't, so it's a new thing, or if it was a mid-year thing. But I was sanding and I couldn't see anything back there, so who knows. But I'll give you a close-up here. I sanded and cleaned off this, and then you can see it's a D440 HP, so it's a correct motor, a 68 model, and it's an HP. And it also has this August 30th assembly date. And of course, this being a September 14th car, that perfectly falls in line with being the original motor. And I'm 99.9% certain it is. But I was just trying to find that number to be totally certain. But anyway, another thing I noticed is a different color blue here. It's not the factory blue. It's a much darker blue, almost like the blue they painted the car in a sense. And then it looks like maybe that's turquoise under there, or light blue. And turquoise would be the original color for this block. So, and I'm noticing some blue down along either head as well. And so I was just curious as if it was sprayed in place or if the engine was out. He never had the engine out when he had it. You know, it's not likely, but who knows. And then it's got this custom bar here for the alternator adjustment. And of course, there's supposed to be a little triangular bracket in here. So this is totally wrong, but I have lots of those other brackets, so no big deal. And, oh, okay, so I'm gonna pop this valve cover off. It's just sitting there. I was looking around last night at it. I wanted to see what this engine looked like inside. You know, when they sit for a long time, things get so rusty just from humidity and condensation and stuff. But check this out. They are in beautiful shape inside. No rust at all. And you see little bits of nice oil there. So, yeah. Although one thing I did notice, and you can probably see here in the video, is you can see the witness marks right here on this shaft. And that is what the bottom of these rockers look like. So I'm going to have to pop these shafts off just to make sure they're installed correctly, because if they're installed upside down, they're not going to get proper oiling to run. And you can, you know, seize all that stuff up and score it pretty bad. So that'll be another thing we have to look at. So there's something I wanted to show you here. I put a big ratchet on the crank pulley, and fan's not turning because it's the blade's on my extension there, so it's just going to slip on the belt for this purpose here. But the engine turns over really nice. I did 2 or 3 complete rotations because sometimes they'll go only so far and there will be a stuck valve or something, and it won't, you know, it'll stop right there. So it's all turned over numerous times, so all the valves are free. And you know, the way that looked in there, that's really promising. So I think this thing will run. What I'm going to do, probably the next video on this, is I'm going to try and get it running. I'll take this distributor out. I got a priming rod to go down to the oil pump, and so I'll run that on a drill. I'll have both valve covers off. We'll prime it so there's oil flowing everywhere, and then I'll rotate the crank 3-4 times to make sure the oil's through all the, you know, the oil journals and stuff. And I'm not sure, but I'm thinking I might take this intake off so I can douse the camshaft with oil. I don't want to run it dry. And, you know, to run this thing with the headers and stuff, I'll probably put an aluminum intake on anyway. And then, yeah, so I think this beast will run. And then I checked up on Rock Auto as far as brakes go. and all the wheel cylinders, master cylinder, rubber lines, some spring kits. They were like $140 or something. It was not very much at all. So the drive shaft's out of this car. So I'm sure the tranny's missing half its fluid. First of all, I picked up some valve stems, and I'm gonna try and get all 4 of these chrome road wheels, the original wheels, to hold air. Maybe find some better tires, just as rollers. So I can get this thing rolling. I'll get it inside the shop up on the hoist, and I'll service the transmission. I'll put a filter in, a gasket, adjust the bands, fill it with fluid, put the drive shaft in. Drive shaft needs 1 U-joint. One is really good, but the other one's just seized, the one that goes right at the diff. Put a new one of those in, and then change oil in the engine, of course, before I do all the rotation and stuff. And I have an Edelbrock 750 I can put on there. I've got the radiator, dig up some hoses and stuff. The belt's already on there, and we're gonna give it a go. I think this engine will run. It turns over, so definitely will run. Whether it has a knock or not, that remains to be seen. I'm sure it's fine, but you never know. So if we can get this to run in the tranny L service and stuff, I'd love to take this around the block, and that'll be the first time driving in 20 years anyway. And if that's the case, if we get it to that stage, then I'm going to order all the brake stuff, maybe even a new fuel tank, and some odds and ends, whatever it needs, and we could throw it at that car and at least make it run. We're running out of time here as far as fall. I got lots and lots to do here. I do want to get the whale running as well. But if we can get these cars running and moving on their own power, that way in the winter, because my shop's so full, when I want to work on something, I got to pull something out and bring something in. So it makes it a lot easier if these are running vehicles. So yeah, that's kind of exciting. Give you a little look at the fender tag here. We can see that. You can zoom in there. So I went through the codes here, and so of course it's a 440 automatic, MM1 turbine bronze, black interior, buckets console, and then it came with a white side stripe, like the GTX has had in '68. And of course it's manual drums, manual steering, radio. I was going to show you one other thing here. Not that it's a big deal, but I was looking for remnants of the original stripe just to, confirm. And if you look right down where the light is, you can see the remains of a white side stripe over the turbine bronze paint. So that confirms that it did have that. I took this back seat out. Here, I'm going to get the light in there. And the floors are perfect up there, just like I suspected when I seen it from underneath. But of course, we get generational mouse and rat poop and nests and stuff, so that's all got to come out, and be cleaned. But yeah, that's promising. That's pretty cool. I got a bunch more stuff out of the trunk to get a better look. You can see the rust holes there and there. Through the middle here, I don't see any blatant holes, just, heavy scale. And I'm sure if you scrub that hard enough with a wire brush or something, you're going to get a bunch of pinholes. So, it is what it is. This side, you can see there's rust there, rust out on there and stuff. So, for a ratty driver, I think a guy would just plug those holes. I'm thinking, because ultimately this trunk floor has to be replaced, and these trunk drop-offs had to be replaced, and the quarter panels and stuff. But immediately in the near future, just to keep from asphyxiating myself, I think I might just cut a metal patch and use some of that body glue and just sort of plug the holes right there. That might help. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But she sure is a crusty turd. What else was I gonna tell you? Oh, here's the seat here, and you can see all the goo. You know, the stuffing and stuff was taken down. When I grabbed the parts today from the previous owner here, he mentioned he has a partial broadcast sheet. You know, what's left of it, the rest was confetti, so he's got it in a bag and for safekeeping, and of course, safekeeping is so safe you can't even find it, so he's going to look for that for me and, you know, get it to me one day. He did like the idea of leaving the trailer. He actually thought that was pretty cool. And then his daughter was watching the video, and she had to ask him, Dad, what does ratty mean? You know, the term ratty driver. So I thought that was funny. You know, guys in the car world know it full well, but somebody new, you know, it's a totally new term. Anyway, I think that's it for now. So the next video on this is going to be, will it run? And I'm going to gather all the parts I can together, and I'm guessing it will. I had a look at the master cylinder. It's full of fluid, and it was, you know, relatively clean. It wasn't, you know, rusty mud. And there is pedal inside the car. You can feel the brakes. So, you know, it probably has enough brakes to yard drive or run around the block here or something. You know, we'll see. But usually what happens with an old brake system like that is, you know, as you use it, it'll start springing leaks or seize up or split or whatever. And for the price of the replacement parts, it's, you know, it's pretty cheap. But for the next video, if I can get it to run and move, then I think I'm definitely going for a ride and maybe even a burnout or something. I think that would be fun. Okay, well that's it for this short little video. I just wanted to give you an update of what was going on, and the next video on this car will be hopefully running. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and share if any of this content interests you. I'm trying to build the channel, and it's definitely an uphill battle. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.